Yay!
Something in my eye.
They're not a sponsor.
Today we have
Goldfish. Pro move on Goldfish. You buy a bag of cheddar and you buy a bag of pretzels, dump them together, and then you get cheddar pretzels.
Okay. Now it's Arturo, huh? Arturo's full.
No, I mean, who doesn't like goldfish, man?
Yeah, but like, you start eating more. What's up, guys? Did we turn the microphone on?
Yeah, it's on.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's. I was gonna say it's bouncing.
Bouncing.
Cheat. Cheezels. Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, goldfish are awesome, man. I mean,
Hey, from Cali. What's up? Good evening from Vancouver. There you go.
now I of course have the after effects of Cheezels, of you got all that goldfish crap.
Thank you, Baba.
Stuck in the corner of your mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you guys so much for the Frontier Intel. It sounds so much better now. Yes, it does. It was great. So that was a 911 that we didn't film, and I know you guys are going to be really bummed about it.
Yeah.
Because we should have. We didn't think it was that bad when we got into it. Like on the surface, it just seemed like it was like gonna. It just seemed like, okay, this is going to be simple. We have to move an amp from one location to another. And then as we started to peel back the layers, like we pulled the radio out of the dash. Yep. And here's something that just this is something that irritated the crap out of me. We pulled the radio out of the dash, and they had added a
25
steering wheel control interface, a CP2.
They did.
Yeah. Now a CP2 from PAC needs constant 12 volts accessory and ground. They're putting a radio in. The radio harness has a constant 12 volts accessory and ground, but they still stripped the harness back, tapped into that, twist into that. I'm like, why the hell would you do that? Not only that, it's a Nissan, which if you can just depin 3 wires out of a Nissan harness and pin them back into this. And you don't even have to do anything. Like and
now you're not talking.
I know, it's just ridiculous. So like that was the start of it, and it's like, and then like Fernando was like, all right, I'm gonna pull the rear speakers. Because even if we're not doing we did front speakers. This is another one that is somebody sells you a set of 6x9s, and then you have a factory 2.5 in the dash. Yeah. And I get it. Some people just want a set of 6x9s.
Yeah.
And then you're going to sell them a tweeter, and it's like, all right, so what is the goal? This is a good question, because the goal is
to get the money.
The goal is to get the money for sure. But as the buyer, you have to. This is something you have to think about. What is the goal? Is the goal just to be loud, or is the goal to have imaging and sound good? Because if the goal is just to be loud, then the move of buying a 6x9 3 or 4-way and then a speaker to put up in the dash, tweeter or a 2.5 or something like that, then that's the move, because that's going to get you the most volume. More speakers equals more volume. Doesn't necessarily mean sound better, just means more volume.
Mm-hmm.
But if the intended purpose is to sound good, well, then you don't want a 3-way 6x9 down in the bottom of the door, because you got tweeters in the bottom of the door. I mean, if you snip the tweeters on them, that's cool. But what would be the point?
What would be the point? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then you put a tweeter up in the dash that's banging around because you just double-sided taped it. Yeah. Double-sided taped it to a back strap.
That was crazy. Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, and that was the thing. It was like, hey, what do you want? Do you want it to sound better? Yeah, I want it to sound better. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, then let's see what you got. And then we get to the rear doors, and the Nissan Frontier, the rear speaker has kind of got a narrow basket, so the plastic piece that it mounts to is kind of square. It's like this shape. And so all they did was just kind of like,
they just cut it.
I don't know what they did. Wire cutters or something. Honest, it was terrible.
Yeah.
And So we had to grind it back down flat. But the biggest problem was the 2-screw option, which I love. It's 2 screws. Don't need 4, need 2.
Yep.
And then the gap, the smiley face gap all across the bottom, so that the speaker was mounted with 2 screws, but then all it was ported.
Yeah.
It's ported back into the door.
Ooh,
maybe
that was louder.
It was for more bass.
That was louder. That was louder.
So it's like, okay, and it's one of those things where you just keep finding these problems. And then of course, I think they ran 20-foot RCAs. Yep. Because there was enough blue RCA up in the dash for us to
20-footer.
Oh God, it's like, God damn it.
As soon as you start finding one thing, it's like now you have to go to the next one because you're gonna find something in there.
Yeah.
So it's just like
hello from Iceland.
Hi from Portugal. Dude. What's up, man?
What's up, Car Gift? We've been talking a lot lately. Greetings from rainy South Africa.
Hey.
No offense to the South Africa or Portugal, but Iceland, that's awesome. I want to go to Iceland.
Where is it?
It's right there. I want to go to Iceland.
Oh, I love your picture.
Yeah. Sound Solutions of Iceland. If everybody's in Iceland, they need to find someone. Maybe check out Sound Solutions.
All right. So we have Christian over here. I just ordered a 5x7 to the 6.5-inch adapters. Do I need to cut the metal? And what Kenwood component speakers will you go with? I'm just running front stage.
Not always. It's going to depend on the basket of the speaker. So you just order 5x7 to 6.5 adapters. Do I need to cut metals? And what Kenwood component speakers would I go with? So this is one of those things where it's like, I'm a sucker for if there's already a tool out there that does this for me, I'm just going to use that. And one of the tools that does this for me is the Alpine R-Types.
Yep. By the way, thank you for the 10, man.
The Alpine R-Type comes with the adapter to go to the 5x7. But with that being said, if you want to go Kenwood, the 6.5 Exelon is really the only monster out there. And yes, you may need to cut a little bit, just like shave just a tad.
Now, what kind of car are we talking about?
That's just it. I don't know, but I'm assuming. Well, it's got to be a Ford because it's 5x7.
5x7.
It's either a Ford or a
Mazda. Yeah.
If it's a Mazda, you're fine. Because that came much later in the game.
Yeah.
But the Kenwood Exelon 6.5 is going to be the one you're going to choose. The 7-inch isn't going to fit. That's going to not go in there. So.
All right.
Before we answer this question, leave it up.
Yep.
We just like to thank Focal. USA.com. Line/Otter is the brand we're talking about today, and they're going to be taking care of the first 15 minutes of this show. However, the one thing I want, because we know you guys are all big Focal fans.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen this product yet, this is, I'm
going to remove it just so you guys can see it.
Yeah, hide it for 1 second.
There you go.
This is the new slate fiber. Now, when you get some free time after the show, definitely go on and check these bad boys out. These are going to be for the guys that are interested in, let's say, picking up the Focal Flax, and then they go, oh, these are going to be your speakers. Okay, so definitely check them out. I'll leave it up. And instead of Auditor, you can just put in slate fiber, and that'll get you the same page, or just go to focal-usa.com. All right, on to the question. I'm planning on a system for an Ultima, which has 3.5s in the dash, front doors, and rear 6x9s. Thinking of using those Kenwoods, 3.5s, and adding a mid-bass in the door to make it a three-way. Thoughts or a two-way? Well, the 6903 is what you're after. It already comes. It's all set, ready to go. That comes with the 3.5, the C3s, and the Kenwood 6x9, which is your mid-bass, which will give you the three-way set. So if you're talking about just doing those, just get the set.
Yeah.
And then they make the 6904s, which is the Exelon 6x9 for the rear deck.
Yep.
So go to the Kenwood. Or if you're not interested in the tweeter part of the rear deck, you could just get 2 sets of 6903s and not use one set of 3.5 some to your buddy, and then just use the mid bass out of that for the back. That's kind of what we do in a lot of the Dodges. But anyways.
All right, El Fuego, thank you for the 5, man.
El Fuego coming in. If the Easter Bunny had car audio system, what would be best considering the size of his ears? Ooh, he's going to want Morel. And if we're playing that game, he's going to want Morel because he's going to want those big silk soft dome tweeters that sound El Natural, some piccolos up there high, and He's going to be jazzing out, tapping his big old rabbit paws on the ground.
He
big
doesn't
old
need
rabbit
that
foot,
big ones.
and he's just going to be listening to those big, sexy soft tones, man.
There you go.
Hearing those mosquitoes buzzing around. Love it when Dean cussed. Did I cuss already? My bad.
Yes.
I didn't even hear it. When setting the amp up, when I had front stage going to front, it sounded bad. And when using the rear signal for the front, it sounded better. The 2020 run RAV4 JBL DSP. The reason why it might have done that is there's an all-pass filter in the front, and there isn't one in the rear. So if you added time alignment to a system that had an all-pass filter in it, it was probably sounding very peculiar. If you want to use the front so you can get your front to rear fader back, and there again, it's not a RAV4 with a JBL factory JBL system, which I'm assuming it's not. You may want to think about getting a kicker, the key lock. The key lock you could put in before the JBL amplifier on the front speakers, and it's capable of shutting down. It's capable of reinitializing the system, and it will match the all-pass filter to the other side, so it negates the all-pass filter. There's a lot of magic going on with that, but if you want to fix that Toyota so that you can use the fronts, pick yourself up a key lock. Run it. Make sure you. I told someone to use it the other day, and they called me, dude, it's not working. And I'm like, did you run the software? And they're like, all right, I'll call you back.
No kidding.
But that's what a key lock is designed to. It's magical in a Toyota for sure.
It is magical. It is.
You okay, man?
Yeah, I'm gonna lock this thing.
Okay.
So it doesn't move.
I can do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's all locked. We're locked up. Can you verify that the DSR1 works on a 2020 Fusion? Doesn't show it on the compatibility list because it probably doesn't work in the 2020 Fusion.
No, it doesn't show nothing on this.
So the 2020 uses a new harness, so the 2020s all have new harnesses that isn't compatible yet with anything iData. If it's a BO Fusion, Bang & Olufsen Fusion, that's going to be the Nav TV piece or the new Amp Pro FD31 that you can't get. But so nothing for Ford yet.
Nothing for 4 yet. Did someone pick up the Camaro box yet?
No,
not yet.
Still up front. Forgot about
still
it.
Up front.
It's still there.
One more week, and then it's gone.
Yeah. So if somebody wants it, come get it.
Yeah.
Hey, Dina, what's up?
All right.
Not sure what to do. I have 4 channels left on a D61200 installing the full cal KRX KX3 set in my Mustang. Would you recommend bi-amping them 125 and 125 or not bi-amping them and 400 watts bridged? The D61200 is not really a good amp to bridge, not because it can't do it, just because it gets really weird how you have to set up the DSP inside of it. So I don't recommend doing the bridging thing that you're talking about. Don't bridge it. I've done it. It's a headache, and it's like, oh my God, it's not really what it's made for. It can do it, but it's a struggle. There's no question about it. Bi-amping those is perfectly cool. So it's the KRX3, the passive crossovers. I would run on a KRX3, the crossover comes with the bi-amp capability where the tweeter and the mid-range are on 2 channels, and then the mid-bass is on a channel of its own. I would just use the part of the passive crossover that's for the tweeter and the mid-range, and then run the amplifier directly to the mid-bass. You don't have to use the passive crossover. I mean, you can if you want. It's entirely up to you. But I would go active on the mid-bass, and I would just use that passive crossover just to split up the 2 mid-range. That's a normal way of doing things.
All right, Bobby has a poll.
What is everyone having for Easter dinner?
What do you have?
Haley's making nacho lasagna.
Oh, cool.
With chicken and beef, meaning one will be chicken, one will be beef.
I have no idea. We're just going to eat something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me shut this off because that is over. Story time real quick. So roll it down to the bottom. Start going through those and you got okay. Hold the thoughts for a minute, guys. We told you we were going to tell you what happened with us this week. On Wednesday, we had a bunch of meetings that we had to go to and kind of wanted to fill you in on what those were about. And so just kind of hold the questions for a couple minutes while we explain to them what happened. So Wednesday for lunch, we actually went to lunch, which was insane because we never go to lunch. I think this is only like the third or fourth time we've ever had lunch since working here, and usually it's a holiday. But Herb Brown, new president of the president of AMP Global North America, or the Americas, and Alex Camara, former owner of Audio Control, still president of Audio Control, I'm assuming, or president of all things audio.
I think it's VP
of audio at AMP Global. Former owner of Audio Control. Either way, the president, the VP, contacted us and they're like, "Hey, we need to have a lunch. We need to talk." And I was like, "Yeah, let's go to Hooters." So that conversation was a lot of fun. It was great catching up with Herb. I've known Herb for years. I haven't, now that he is the guy, the president, we had a lot of fun. And we talked about the future of audio control as opposed to how we go into it. Because obviously we do a lot with Audio Control. They're a major sponsor of the show. And they wanted us to understand what purchasing Audio Control meant and also what it's going to mean for the future of Audio Control and also what our interaction with them is going to be. So like right now we're still going to be going with Audio Control to SEMA. And they wanted to ask us, of course, our take on a lot of things, like get some ideas for products, for future products and all kinds of stuff like that. And also we wanted to talk about future endeavors that we're going to be doing with AMP Global because there again, we really haven't been doing much with them recently. But now things will change and we get to start talking and doing stuff with them again, hopefully, which will be really cool.
Right.
But basically the meeting broke down to Audio Control is the idea behind Audio Control is that it's going to stay the way it is. They're really stressing the point that they don't want to change the company. If anything, they just want to pour money into it so that they can come out with cooler stuff faster.
Right.
And we did talk about a bunch of cool stuff on the future. So that was a really interesting meeting to have. And we were honored, of course, that they wanted to have this meeting with us because at the end of the day, we're like, we're just dudes do this. But yeah. And then that night, we actually had dinner with the audio team from AMP Global along with Jeff Smith, who I guess could be considered. I don't know. He's got a seat
on the table.
He's got a seat at the table now.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we had a dinner with Jeff Smith, your boy. What's your boy's name?
Kyle,
who is the buyer for Audio Control, a buyer engineer. Yeah. And we had Matthew Colombo, of course, the two of us. We had Kevin Kunze. Yep. We had Matthew. We already said Matthew. And then we had Alex. And the purpose of that meeting was to brainstorm new products and how to, they have a plan. But they wanted to get our take on it. And it was a lot of fun because now that the kind of gloves are off, because there's a lot of things we've been talking about Audio Control over the last couple of years. And it's like, yeah, it's going to be tough. And to have these conversations again and it not be tough, be like, we can do that. Yeah. It was really kind of cool. And I guess the reason why we felt we wanted to come on and kind of talk about some of this with you guys is that in the next 2 years, a lot of things are going to change with Audio Control. There's no question about it. And if a quarter of what we talked about with them happens, you guys are going to be blown away. Like, it's really cool. So I guess what I would say to summarize it all up, if you're an Audio Control fan, well, they're in good hands. Alex isn't going anywhere. We ended the night with Alex going, "It's your job to keep me honest." And I was like, oh, we're screwed. But be prepared. Get ready. We're not going to be talking about 5-channel amps for 2 years. That's for sure. We got lots of new cool stuff that Audio Control has. Yes, it might take 2 years before some of this stuff happens, but no, it won't. We have things that are going to happen right away, which is really awesome. So just sit back, relax, and if you're a fan, stick to it because here it comes. Say what? No doubt. It was really cool. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Let's get back to answering questions. I'll put the Audio Control banner up right now so they can pay for this next portion of the show.
Yeah.
And if you want to give them some love, go ahead and, audiocontrol.com, check them out. I'm still telling you, and they're keeping the home audio. The home audio stands.
Yeah. I mean, they're keeping the whole team, everything. It's pretty cool.
Nothing is changing. Nothing's changed. They're still going to be in Washington. They're not moving to Florida. Thank God. Because I don't think they can handle
Hopefully I can make another trip to Washington.
Well, they promised you.
They promised.
They're like, dude, football, man. Next season,
we're going.
We're
to the Super Bowl.
All right, well, I'll just sell for a game. All right, let's fire them up. Thanks for giving us the moment.
All right, guys.
Read it.
Let's go back. Julio. Hello, fellas. Quick question. What has been your experience with Grom Audio and Navex when integrating factory head unit to apply Apple CarPlay? Will you recommend other products than the two I mentioned?
The brand that we use is
ZZ2.
So this is the ZZ2. Mm-hmm. So this one is for our friend Drew's Audi, and the kit, it comes with the brain, like to be expected, and then it comes with the cool T-harness. Everything you need is in here. There's also a backup camera provision because we're going to be adding backup camera to this. So, this is the brand that we've settled on using. Really nice guys, great customer support.
Honestly, I don't know the other brands that you mentioned.
Yeah.
So
now the other piece, which I'm going to bring over here so that I remember to take it home so that we can finish filming the video. This is the Zeus. This is if you already have CarPlay in your car and you want to add some magical stuff to it. So this is the new Zeus. Ooh, Jeff Smith, of course, has one in his car and absolutely loves it. So I'm putting it in my bag so I remember to take it home.
Pretty good.
Film the video on it.
Now, if you tell us, what would you recommend? That's what we recommend.
Yeah,
because
we know have nothing
works.
Against those other two.
No.
This is the company we work with. So
and we know they no problem.
I think they get it.
All right. Blam.
Multi-X two-way paired with a Helix 8 V8 amp and two Helix 8-inch subs for small 911 or JLC7s with tweets, JL808 with two TW3s. I think it'll be fine with the Helix. What makes the Helix unique is that, and with the Blam speakers, you get 2 ohms, you get lots of power out of it. It's a smaller footprint. It's super efficient. I'm gonna go Helix for this situation. Nothing against JL, big fan, but I think for the Porsche, this is going to be a better result than going the other way. Just personal opinion. We all know that. All right, moving on.
Right.
Hey, Dean and Fernando. I watch your show all the time and love your content.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, my Audio Frog and JL install was done professionally by that scrub guy. Oscar.
Yes.
It still runs perfect. Yay.
I can see the picture. Remember the
Dude,
picture?
let me tell you what. That build was awesome.
Yeah.
The global build and all that.
Yeah. Pretty good.
No, he did a fabulous job in that system. And he is a scrub. There's no question about it. Yeah. Amateur. Hey, Dean and Fernando.
It's same thing. I'm sorry. Wow. My bad. It's just 2 of them.
We didn't miss you. We just hadn't got there yet. I was talking. I have a 2019 Super Duty with a Pioneer NEX head unit. What do you think of adding a SCAR RP800 2-kicker 10-inch comp R subs in a vented acoustic Fox box? Yeah, why not? That's pretty awesome. I mean, you're getting the kicker subs. They're great subs. there's a lot of amps out there to choose from. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about that. Michael says, have the XR601-1 when setting gains using the DD1 is all the way down and it is showing distortion, but it's clean signal on the RCA coming from the head unit. It's a KDC XR, no issues with the gain. Yes. I remember this question because I think you've asked this before and we didn't get a chance to answer it.
So it has distortion?
No. So remember when we were dynoing those
Mm-hmm.
and that one did something weird? I don't think it likes the DD1 is really what it comes down to. It was the only amp that did it, but ours, just to make you feel better, ours that we have here, the 601, did the same thing. So it might be something just in the way they built the amplifier and the way the DD1 is working. I don't know, but our demo that we tested did the exact same thing as the results you're getting.
Right. I remember we called.
Yeah. And I don't know why it did it, but yes.
Right, something.
There's nothing wrong with the amp.
Yeah.
It's just I just don't think it likes the way. I don't think it likes the way it's metering it. I don't know, or it is. I don't know, but yes, ours did the same thing. So. Crank it up all the way.
Crank it up all the way. Don't do that.
Break the windows. Break the knob off. In
2000
other words, I don't think I'd worry about it. I would just set it up the best that you can and move on from there.
All right, 2015 Nissan Frontier stock Rockford. I installed the key 500.1 with the Kicker Comp RT10. The gains are set correctly. It's just adjustment. But the customer keeps blowing. Any ideas besides customer turn the volume up? Okay.
So my guess is the gains aren't set correctly because that's a digital gain on that amplifier, and if it'll clip whatever you feed into it. So if the signal coming into it is clipped, it's going to amplify the clip signal and blow stuff. Tweeters only blow for one reason, man, because they're getting hot, and they're getting hot because they're distorting. So I'm not saying you did it wrong. All I'm saying is that more than likely,
maybe check again.
Well, no, it's not a matter of that. It's just you're powering it more than that they can handle. So right. You're gonna have to turn the gains down. That's all there is to it. That or go with a better set of tweeters, but I don't think that's the answer. I think it's just the gains are up too high. I can tell you from our experience, the gains on a kicker key don't really go up all that much.
Well, I mean, but they just keep blowing the Comp RT10. So,
well, I say tweeter.
Yeah, you say tweeter.
I don't know why I said tweeter.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. All right. So hold on. Why was I was thinking tweeter.
No.
2005 Frontier Rockford installed key 501. Oh, okay. So it's 200. It's 500 watts.
Yeah.
Gain set correctly. Damn. He needs two subs. So we just did. I mean, the Frontier we just did. You know, we've done the one sub, we've done the two subs. He needs two subs. He wants more bass than you're giving him. I mean, I was thinking tweeters. That was my bad. But no, if he keeps blowing one sub, he needs two. That's all there is to it. I mean, you could go bigger 10, but that's not going to matter because it's not going to fit underneath the seat. So they make the ground pounder makes a 210 box for that fits. I mean, unless he's got to have that pocket off to the side, but. Check out groundpounder.com for a 210 box. Fro, what's up?
How you doing, buddy? All right, I got another one right here before we go to the thing. No.
He's right there.
Right here.
Yeah.
All right.
Ordered a new Alpine ILX F509. Do I need a processor or equalizer for the tuning? The amps are Stetson. The radio is going to whether Alpine, Sony, Kenwood, Pioneer, JVC, whoever, they all come with EQs, crossovers, time alignment. Some of them have. The new Alpines have a better than average crossover and a better than average EQ now, meaning They have a left EQ and a right EQ. So there's a lot you can do with the factory radios now that you couldn't do in the past. And each year they keep getting better and better and better and better. That might be enough for you. Might not be. So it's never going to be okay, I won't say never. Right now, it's not a replacement for an EQ, a DSP. However, it might be enough, which it is a lot of the times, for what you're trying to do. So what I would recommend is get it all in and listen to it, see if it works how you're expecting. And if it doesn't, then go, you know what? I think I'm going to upgrade to a DSP.
All right.
Don't spend money until you have to.
I have an audio control. Any idea? I asked them to make the LED display on their LC series amplifiers for the exact crossover points.
Yeah, every manufacturer, if we could get to do that, would be wonderful. But they don't, and they're not going to. So, I mean, you got to understand what you're asking. That's a lot of money. And the amplifier is already a lot of money.
Well, they have to rebuild the whole thing?
Well, you'd have to, because you got to put a screen on it. Alpine used to do that on some amps.
Well, I mean,
years
just
ago.
LEDs, yeah. I mean,
well, no, it can't be LEDs because it's a variable frequency from, from X to Y, which you're gonna have 100 LEDs on there. I mean, I liked what Pioneer and JL does on those amplifiers, where every time you click it, it's a different crossover point. To me, that's sexy as shit. I like that. I wish they would just do that.
Yeah.
Because as you go click, 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 click,
you feel the click.
You just count the clicks.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to start over. And when you got to count 20 clicks, it's kind of sucky, but it's pretty precise. Now, of course, the other way to do this is to get the SMD's CC1 crossover calibrator, because that's what we would use. Or get a DSP external and then not worry about it.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. Someone already asked a similar question, but ground zero 6-channel amp, channel 5 and 6 bridged 500 watts on a Morel TI-124 or bespoke
audio control 1.1500 because of the headroom. I mean, the 1.1500,
that's a lot of power.
It's more power.
That's a lot of power.
Oh my
I mean,
God,
do you need that? I mean, I don't think you need that kind of power.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think that's necessary. I mean, headroom is one thing, but triple the amount of power, that's a lot. Personally, if you can get away with just the 6-channel power and everything, I would use the 6-channel power. For one, you're going to cut down on the current consumption of the car. Is going to, the amplifier is drawing current on the car, which to me, I think is the biggest thing here. And also you don't, unless you're going to bridge 2 of those channels to something else, you don't want to just leave 2 channels on an amplifier not doing anything. It's a good way to make the amplifier really hate you, and possibly want to go back to the factory to just check in and, have parts replaced.
500 watts, man.
Yeah.
That's it. Pete. I'm
Pete.
sorry, my bad. Thank you for the 10.
Was it Pete and repeat went up a hill? Pete fell down, who was left? Pete and repeat went up a hill. Pete fell down, who was left?
Repeat.
Pete and Pete went up a hill. Pete fell down, who was left?
Okay, let's continue.
Yeah, okay.
What would you recommend for adding aftermarket amplifiers for the 2024 Fusion? Non-VO. Then, will an audio control LC6i
or the
JL fix work well?
All right, so this kind of goes back to the question earlier when we were talking about the Toyota, and he was, he had put the JL amplifier in there, and when he used the rears, it sounded way better than in the front because the rears aren't using any all-pass filters in them. Ford typically doesn't run that. Fords are not terribly EQ'd systems to begin with. We've been EQing on top of the factory amplifier for years and years and years. Now, one thing that you can think about here is you have, depending on how savvy you are laptop-wise, ForScan still works on a 2020. So you can use ForScan. You can buy the ForScan programmer for $30-40. And you could still go into your car and do the reprogramming that the iData module would be doing. And there's YouTube videos out there that'll show you how to do that. But that is still available to you. So you can, because that plugs in the OBD2, and then you go in. And now, if you're not comfortable with reflashing your car, which I totally understand, like we have customers do that if they want it, and if they want it. If they don't, then you just. But the two pieces that you're asking about, the LC6i and the fix, do totally different things. And the fix is designed to do de-equalization. So it's going to look at the system. It's going to try to flatten it back out. The LC6i is just going to take that high level. It's just a high level to low level adapter. It's just a really nice high level to low level adapter. What we were talking about with the RAV4 was adding a key lock. Depending on what you're trying to do and what the intended goal is, you could add a key lock also to the front two channels, because most of the time those are the only channels you need. Like, nobody needs rear. You just need two channels of good quality audio. If you have backup sensors and they're coming out of the rear, then yes, you need rear. But the key lock is like the most cost-effective two-channel de-equalization piece out there. With that being said, me personally would just buy a DSP. So I would buy, let's say, a DM608. Or just an amplifier with a DSP built into it. It's like a D4.800. That's what we put in that situation. So if you came into me and said, you have this car, we'd talk, we'd figure out what you want. And if I'm not dealing with the factory radio in any way, I'm just putting a DSP amplifier in there, and I'm not going to worry about it, because that's going to do everything I need it to do. And it's going to solve all my problems. It's going to make everyone happy. So to me, that's the solution.
All right, Bob.
Did you answer if someone picked up the sub box? Did you sign it too? We will sign it.
You?
Yeah, I'll sign it.
There you go.
But somebody needs to pick it up, because we're not shipping it anywhere, and we won't take. And we're not going to do it if I pay for it. No, it's somebody just got to go. I'm
Come
here
for the box.
Yeah.
But thank you for the 20, man.
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate it. For tuning the sub amplifier, RMS matches the sub. It's a -5 say for the rap music.
Okay, so there's really no good answer for this question, I don't think. Okay. When we're sitting in a car together, you and I, you're Fernando right now, and we're sitting in the car.
I am.
And we're like, hey, how loud can I turn it up?
Yeah.
That's the question and I go, all right, here's the deal. Everyone always talks about the new cool word on the block, which is gain overlap. Ooh, yay. The reality is this: there's no magical number on your volume knob that you're going to be able to turn everything to. So you can't always play it at 38. All right, well, if you listen to the exact same music all the time and it's recorded the exact same way, then 38, yeah, sure, you could do that. But typically people don't. People listen to a lot of different stuff. Yeah. Like was a conversation we were having today of all the wide variety of music that the two of us listen to. And some of it is recorded really well. Some of it is recorded really bad. And our customers and you are no different. You'll have music, that's lower in tone and not very loud, and you want to crank it up. And then you'll listen to stuff like new music where it's just like, hey, man, I'm new music. What's going on? So what you're trying to do when setting up your gains is, for one, you have to be an integral part of your gain, meaning you have to understand the capabilities of your system. You have to know when shit sounds bad and turn it down. So when you're asking, can I do +5? You can do +15 if you want. If that gets you what you need for the worst music you're going to listen to.
Right.
But no, when you're listening to other stuff that is better, you have to turn it down. That's really what it comes down to. You have to police yourself. Speakers will not blow themselves.
You have to be an adult.
You have to be an adult about it. Damn it. So that's really the answer to that question. Right. Yes, -5 dB will probably work great. -10 would probably be better, just so you have the capability, the diversity in volume for the types of music you're listening to. Your subs are only going to play this loud, meaning there is a plateau that every speaker will get to. It's just a matter of how soon you get there. And of course, the source is going to vary. So if your subs will only do 130 dB, that's it. That's all you can get out of them. Whether you get to that listening to AC/DC with the volume at 40, or you get to that listening to, 40 whatever, insert modern rapper. I don't know any. At 32. It's the same thing. You're still at 130 dB, and that's what you have to understand. The other thing too that I always tell people when we're sitting in the car, same thing. Listen, if you're sitting there and you're turning up the volume, you go let's say if you're at 32 and you go to 34 and you don't hear any different, put it back down to 32, because all you're doing is putting heat into the system, and that's what blows speakers. Like the Key 501 that we were talking about. The gain could be set perfect, but the subwoofer might not be able to handle it, and all you're doing is putting heat onto the voice coil, which is going to cause it to explode. And then the customer who doesn't know any different is just getting in there, and they expect to be able to just crank it all the way up, and it's like,
it's 32 nothing, 34
right.
nothing.
There
okay,
again,
38.
There again,
Let's
that woofer may only put out 120 dB, and that's it. So once it's there, everything past its capabilities is just going to be heat, and heat is what blows coils.
Jeno, thank you for the $4.99.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
Got this one. Hang on before. That's a lot. Where is it? I'm trying to right here. All right.
I'm going to mount a DQ-DX up front with me so I can tinker with it. Would it hurt to use my Matrix Plus in the back close to the amps? The DQ-DX has a Matrix built into it. I think you'd be over complicating things. I mean, if you have one and you want to use it, I totally get it. But the Matrix is, the DQ-DX already has a Matrix built into it. So I don't think you have to run them both. But if you want to run them both, yes, you can put it in the back. It's perfectly fine. But you really don't need to, because the DQ-DX will do the job of the Matrix. So I personally would not run both. But if you have it and you want to do it, go for it. And yes, you can put it in the back. It's not going to hurt anything.
All right.
Christian. Hold on. All right, here we go. Can you please push the button? You know, the one you push, and then my elate started singing like a bird. New ground worked for the few days. Gurgling started and is back. Running remote wire now. Maybe there's something wrong with your car. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe there's a voltage issue with your car.
Have
you put a new battery in that thing yet? I mean, with as much as you tinker with that thing and the doors are open and stuff.
Check the voltage.
I mean, it's an Audi, so I know the batteries last a good 3 or 4 or 5 years. But still, man, you're kind of hard on it. Maybe time for a new battery. Just saying. I don't know. How can I use the DM-RTA mic I plug in the microphone and turn the 48 volts, and it doesn't seem to read correctly because I have the mic gain a lot and the speakers are loud? Did I read that right?
How can I use the DM?
Yeah, DM-RTA mic. I plugged into the microphone. I turn on the 48 volts because it's a phantom power microphone.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to read correctly because I have turned the mic gain a lot and the speakers are loud. Well, okay, so what are we trying to measure here first? If we're trying to RTA it, we don't need it to be loud to RTA it.
No.
Turn the volume in the car down. Because we're not going to maximum. I typically tune in between 25 and 30.
Yeah.
25 and 30 is the magic number there. And I adjust the sensitivity on the microphone to
depends
on how loud it is. But yeah,
but when we turn it on, we always test it, like start 20, 25, 26.
Yeah, but that's what I said, somewhere between 25 and 30. And I use the
yeah.
Hold on, shut the question off for a minute.
Yes, of course.
I use the Educar Test and Tune app.
Yeah.
This isn't an Educar Test and Tune app, but Educar this is the only thing I have. This is for teachable.com. He's got a bunch of DSP trainings on that are really cool. But either way, Educar, you can find it on the App Store. Check it out. They got great pink noise.
They have great
so you plugged in?
3.
Is it? No.
I say 8. I'm
I was
sorry,
gonna say it should be 8.
You got it.
So there's the app right there. Hold on. Yeah. So when
you got test.
Yep.
And then tune.
Yep. It's pretty cool.
And then that's
what we use for that.
Yep.
Now I'm going to tell you right now, it's a $20 app. So all you guys are, oh my gosh. But the nice thing is it's got all your negative gain overlap settings for you. So I like it because I don't have to go looking for it and I don't have to change stuff. And the pink noise runs the whole time. It just runs. It's in a big loop. So you can run that thing for an hour and a half if you want. And you don't have to put it on reset. It's so great. But
all right.
Go ahead.
I'm having the Rockford DSR1. Yeah, right?
Yep.
Has the time alignment for the driver. Can I turn it off so I can hear all in my trucks? And I can feel the full experience like the audio control.
Yeah, you can turn off time alignment. Yeah. You set it all back to 0. So the nice thing about the DSR1 is you can make as many presets as you want. So what I would suggest doing is if you've set up the DSR1 and you've stored your preset, which if you haven't figured that out yet, then figure that out first. Store the preset and then label it before you move on. And let's say label it with time alignment. And then go back and then don't upload it to the thing. Go back into the adjustment, the advanced adjustment, and reset and put all of the time alignment back to 0. All right. And then go back over to manage presets and then store it, download it and label it, EQ with no time alignment. And then what you'll be able to do is you can pick one and upload it to the device, and you can have as many different versions of the tune as you want. Yeah, why not? That's the great thing about the DSR1 is you can have infinite. I mean, ours, of course, is every car we've ever tuned. But you may want to tune it to the center of the car.
Right.
So
CC1 is good for crossovers.
It is very good for crossovers. It is a miracle thing. Let me tell you what. I wish I would have had the CC1 back in the day because, we ran caps on tweeters regardless of what we were setting it to because we knew we were never going to get that right. That just wasn't going to happen.
All right. I got this one right here.
Oh, let me turn this back on.
Thank you.
Buy the wire ruler. Become a wire god. Find it at mobilesolutionsusa.com.
All right. Oh, okay.
Is that John Cena?
Chimpo out.
I love that guy.
Right.
I
haven't seen him.
You get it or you don't, man. You get it or you don't.
Probably
Moving on.
Thinking about putting a D1300 Morel Maximo 602
for the front.
Mark II for the front and Maximo's coaxials for the rear in a 2022 Corolla hybrid. Any recommendations on affordable RTA microphone and software?
iTest mic. If you're an Apple guy, get an iTest mic from Audio Control.
Audio Control, yeah.
The iTest mic is so if you're not an Apple guy, they have U-Test mic. The U-Test mic is a universal USB mic. You have the iTest mic, which just works through an iPad, and you can just take the iPad and put it up on the window, and you can just sit outside the car and adjust it from there.
I don't know.
I think it's testing. It's in
test.
Yeah, I was going to say, you literally just have to go to that. Click on that. Yep, test them. Yep. Click it. Yeah. There it is.
Right there.
Yep. So this is.
Hang on, let me remove it from you so you can see it.
So this is the iOS microphone.
Yeah.
Right there. There's a couple different ones.
Yeah.
But the iTest mic, you can also get it from Studio 6, who makes the software. That's them. So it's the 4100. Yeah. Don't look at the 4140i SPI. That's like really expensive, and that's the one you need is the SA41. We have a bunch of those. It's a great little microphone. Brian Mitchell, who some of you guys might know, ARC employee. Iasca. It's the world champion Cadillac badass car. When he travels with 2 devices. He travels with an iTest mic and now the IRTA2 so that he can, with his iPad, measure acoustically anything he wants and then electrically anything he wants. So he was one of the most excited. When I showed him the prototype of that, he was like, "Can I take this one?" I was like, "No." He's like, "All right, well, I want one as soon as they come out." So he got one as soon as they came out. But yeah, that's going to be your cheapest solution. And if you buy both of them, then you too can do anything you want in your car.
All right.
Car. I have a Helix DSP Ultra and wanted to free up channels. Can I run the rear speakers off the head unit Sony ES 900.5? I'm going to say yes. And what else I'm going to say is, depending on how you want your rear fill to sound, if the radio has the 9500, I believe, has some form of time alignment in it, so you can go back and add in the same amount that you had. If it doesn't, I would just turn them through I would try turning them down. See, I don't know. I'm not real super familiar with the 9500. And when we do this, which we do this quite a bit now for front stage upgrades, when we'll DSP the front speakers and not the rear speakers, we turn them down, which you could probably do through the fader.
Yeah.
So they're there if you do this. And if somebody's sitting in the back of the car, you know they're there. But we're really wanting to control them and not have them interfere with our system. The other thing, too, that the other reason why we try to turn them down, too, is that the volume curves don't work the same typically from the RCAs through the factory amplifier. Factory amplifier typically ramps up really high and then kind of levels off, whereas the RCAs kind of move up more linear. And that kind of screws things up a little bit. So, but no, you can do it. We do it all the time. You're going to have to play with it a little bit.
All right, Dean, thanks for the recommendations to always use polarity tester. I never used one before, but purchased one and my new speakers were wired backwards. And we'll never knew this without.
Yeah. Polarity testers are a big deal.
Yeah.
And you too, for
Hello,
$110.
Hello, guys. Dean
Solutions,
always
can pick up a PT9A Plus that will change the life of you and anyone that is sitting in your car listening to your bunk ass shit.
So now we're gonna send the bill to Mobile Solutions.
I mean, yeah. Okay, going on. Go ahead.
Hello, guys. Dean.
Yes.
Dean always recommend the kicker key lock for the kicker key.
I don't always recommend it, but yes, you can.
200.4. What about the audio control LC2?
LC2. All right, so they're two totally different things. And okay, they're both high level to low level adapters. The LC2i, the LC2i Pro, the LC1i, all they do is high level to low level. The LC1i is a line driver, so it's designed to take in signal and boost the output. The LC2i Pro has AccuBass, which if the only problem you have is bass roll off, then the LC2i or the LC2i Pro will both fix that. However, if you're trying to get a flat signal, then yes. Now, back to the other part of the question, which was the 200.4. If your car doesn't have any issues, meaning there's no like strange filtering going on, very rarely do we put do we put the key lock in front of it. Most of the time you don't need it. Like, it'll do what it needs to do. You don't always have to DEQ a system in order for it to sound good. We demoed that a couple of weeks back when we were showing you how to use the audio control de-equalization circuit. And, we showed you it. We ran it 4 times, and it got the signal nice and flat. But when we were looking at the acoustical RTA, it was going to add a lot of work for us that like wasn't going to help us at all. Like, we didn't need all that signal put back in it. So we went back to let the factory who did the EQ in it, wasn't terrible, and then we just EQ'd on top of that, and everything was great. So you don't need a high level to low level adapter for the 200.4. It's perfectly capable of doing what you need it to do. The only reason why we're talking about adding the key lock in front of it is if, like in the RAV4, you have filtering done that it can address. Like a 200.4 can't deal with all pass filters. Now, all pass filters aren't the end of the world. And in some cases, if you just simply do a 200.4, let it EQ, let it do its whole thing, and it sounds weird, Sometimes you can fix it just by doing the volume, the fader and the treble boost. And other times you just turn off time alignment. And because the all-pass filter is in there anyways, it's going to give you some form of pushed time alignment. Not time alignment, but just acoustical center imaging, we'll call it. It's because it's not aligning any time. So, yeah, I don't know. I hope that helped.
All right, Michael, thank you for the 20, man. Appreciate it.
Whoa, dropping the S-bomb. Way to go, Fernando.
What?
You said shit.
I said thank you.
No,
you
appreciate
said it.
Oh,
appreciate it.
Oh, that was appreciated? It sounded like shit.
Oh.
What laser are you using? We're using the Glowforge. Pro? Plus. There we go. Glowforge Plus.
All right. So Jeff said the Ultra has 12 channels. What is an all of the other 12 channels?
That's a lot of channels to not have any open channels. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking the same thing, Jeff, but I was answering the question. I wasn't thinking outside of the box like you, crazy man.
All right.
And you can reach Jeff on Jeff at Facebook on Instant Messenger to have all the chats you want with him.
Gino, thank you for the $4.99. Can I use the Helix M6 to upgrade my highs and mids in my Lexus RC with Mark Levinson? I already have a 1500.1 audio control to my Mojo 15.
Wow. So I can't say yes or no to this question. All I can say is what you have to do is find out. So the answer is yes. You can use this amplifier to upgrade a factory system, obviously. But I'm not familiar with the Mark Levinson system in the Lexus RC. What you have to find out before adding this amplifier in is how many channels does the Mark Levinson system have that you have to then integrate back in. So for example, if in the Mark Levinson system it has a tweeter only or a tweeter and a mid-range and they're both on one channel, that's good. That means you can take two of the channels of the 6 and go into it and then go back out to a mid-range and a tweeter by amping them. So you have to know what channels you're needing to retain. Is it just a tweeter? Is it a tweeter and a mid-range and a mid-bass? Those are 6 channels for the front. Is there 4 channels for the front? How many channels do you have in the rear? Is there a center channel? What comes from the center channel? Are you going to need to replace the center channel? Or can you just leave the factory center channel plain because it really doesn't do much? So anytime we get into a car like this, these are all the trials and tribulations, I hate that phrase, that go into figuring out sometimes what equipment we can use. So yes, more than likely the M6, but you have to know how many channels you have going into it because a lot of the times you don't want to sum. But if summing is something you have to do, you have to be careful summing. And there's a tool out there that can help you pre-sum and figure out if, in fact, you can sum 2 speakers together. Because let's say you decide to grab that tweeter and that mid-range and sum them together, and the tweeter is 180 degrees out of polarity with the mid-bass. You might have a dip, and it might look weird if you sum it. However, you could possibly flip the tweeter and get it back, and have the perfect signal. And how you would do this is with this tool right here. This is the IRTA2, and this tool can be used to do all kinds of things for electrical RTA work, verifying all-pass filters, which has come up in many times on this show. So you can find out, and there you go, verifying channel summing. These are all things you can do with the IRTA tool. So if you're an aspiring 12-volt installer or you want to take your installations to the next level, you want to have the ability to just be like, I'm right, because I saw it with my own eyes, these 2 puppies here, then the IRTA2 might be the tool for you. And you can find that tool, of course, at DNF Tool Drawer.
That's right.
You can head over to dnftooldrawer.com, and you can also find all the cool tools that we use on our installs to make your life easier. Most of the other tools are links, of course, to cool stuff on Amazon where you can pick them all up. The IRTA2 we ship out from my house because we made it. And if you're interested in picking up some cool 5-star swag, you can find it at dnfswag.com. Jeff keeps popping up in the show, and we all know who Jeff Smith is. Keep scrolling down.
Yep.
Yeah, right there. You can pick up the Jeff Smith. And you just be the coolest kid on the block.
Don, thank you for the 10, man.
You're the man.
Thanks,
Don. That's it, guys. That's going to take us to the end. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday.
Easter candy.
Easter candy for sure. I got to go home and get it all ready for Haley. I got to go hide her Easter basket. Yes, we still do Easter egg hunts, even though she's 22. She just can't get it out of her system. She'll be 23 in like a couple months, June. So, oh God. But no, she loves it. It's
2
a big
months.
deal. Yeah, it's a big deal for her. Hey, man. You know, be a kid as long as you can.
Oh,
that's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Just be a kid as long as you can. Have some fun. If you're a parent, make sure you have fun with your kids tomorrow. Tomorrow's Kids Day.
Don't beat him. No.
Depends on, whatever. I'm an Easter Bunny guy. That's what I think of Sunday is it's an Easter Bunny day. But whatever you believe in, go have fun with that.
That's right.
We will be back on Monday to answer more questions and have some fun. I'm hoping Monday I have my plan is to have enough time this weekend to dig into the Infinity software, the DSP software.
Yeah.
Because I want to do a DSP show on Monday. That's my plan. My plan is to do a DSP show on Monday. So I'm taking that homework assignment home for me. And if Easter falls flat, then I'll have plenty of time to do it. So make sure to join us on Monday. Of course, you can always find us over on Instagram at the 5-star. That's the number 5-star over on Instagram. We do 5 minutes with 5-star. Now, if you don't have Instagram, don't feel bad. You can always watch the rebroadcast on Monday. Play it in the background while you're at work. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for playing with us today. We had a great time. It's the weekend, though. Make sure you get home. Have fun tomorrow. So if you're going to do something crazy tonight, Uber or Lyft. They're not cheap anymore, that's for sure. But take an Uber or Lyft, get home safe so that you can come back and party with us next week. You guys have a great weekend as always. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.